Burke's hurt. Yeah, that's true as well. But you know what else is true? That I am going to welcome everybody to Modular Components. It's the weekend, and we're chilling out here. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. Who are we? Well, I am the drum soloist, the Vacuuminator, and I am joined by the bass guitar Jamalama, Boingo Rider.
See, if you went with Cody, then much better because he likes the bass.
See, I'm not going with that for Cody because I see Snowcone 83 as much more of a keyboard synthesizer master.
I don't know what I am.
Well, you're a key member of this free-man band we have formed tonight here on Modular Components, which, if you weren't aware, Modular Components is the flagship podcast here on Modular Media, the creative co-op the three of us are a part of, and if you want to join in on that and be a fan of us and help us out in the almighty algorithms that now consume and dominate the internet, if you're listening on YouTube, please give this podcast a like, comment on it, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell in order to enable notifications and get every Modular Media podcast as they come out. If you're listening to this on a podcasting platform, please hit that follow button. It helps us out there. And in order to keep up with everything and anything we're doing and updates and announcements as soon as we have them, please follow us on Twitter at the Modular Media, join our subreddit r/Modular Media, and check out our link tree, link.tree/ the Modular Media Hub. I'm still getting used to saying that because it's brand new, and we've got all kinds of exciting links and whatnot to everything we do over there. So go give that a look if you haven't already. And also, just to give one final thing, I'm coming off a head cold tonight, so if I sound a little off from normal, that's why. But I wouldn't miss this episode for the world because, boys, we're here with the first proper topically themed episode of Modular Components. It's been a while coming, and it's gonna be an interesting one because the topic for this is we're going to be revealing our top 5 favorite songs, not collectively but individually. We have each compiled a list of our personal favorite songs, and after the discussion we had last time, I gave this about 2 days worth of thought because, like I said, head cold this week, so I didn't get to think about it nearly as much as I wanted to. But I'll explain more of my thought process when we eventually get to me. Or maybe we're going to get to me in just a moment because we are going full trash taste style on this, folks. I have the random name picker opened on my other monitor. And boys, unless you have anything else to say to kind of intro us into things, I might just go ahead and pick the first person who's got to go up to bat here.
I actually don't like any music.
Yeah,
I mean, that's fair enough. But I hope you pick something. Otherwise, I don't know what you're going to talk about when your name comes up. Just like sound design from a video game or something.
That's more Chris's speciality.
Your favorite effects ever featured on a toy with lights and sounds.
I know what his favorite sound effect is. It's got to be the TIE Fighter screech, isn't it?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe it might be the TIE Fighter blast effect. Anyways, continue. We're gonna get sidetracked.
It's definitely interesting this episode, I think, because I know Chris is really musically technically knowledgeable, and I know he's got weird taste, but I don't know how that's gonna mix. And Cody, I've only heard things about your music taste because we did get to do one album review together on Analytical Fanboys before we ended that show. We did that Nirvana album, but even then we were all kind of like, yeah, this is weird. This isn't the Nirvana we know because we did their first album. That being said, I do still listen to Blue and About a Girl quite often.
Yeah, Nirvana's good. Bleach is good.
Yeah. I need to dive back into that discography at some point. So far, all I know is that album and like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
In Utero's good.
Discography at some point. So far, all I know is that album and like Smells Like Teen Spirit.
In Utero's good.
Still can't remember if I've ever heard In Utero or not. Maybe I'll listen to it later and try and jog my memory. But, boys, are we ready to find out who goes first here?
Yeah.
All right, I am broadcasting the window so you can all ensure I'm not being a cheaty cheat. Oh, good for you.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to go and select the first person in 3, 2, 1.
All right. Alrighty.
Oh, fuck me! It selected me to go first.
Excellent.
God damn it. Okay. Well, first let me close this. So to give a bit of a preempt here, I want to say like there's a part of me that wants to be like these aren't in any particular order, but the truth is they all came to me in this order, so this is kind of my current favorite. And that's how I treated this is not like all-time best ever music in my opinion. It's like these are the songs I listen to the most and enjoy the most right now because all of these are currently in my driving playlist. I didn't like I was talking about last time at the end of the podcast. I had the choice of I can go for stuff I don't listen to all the time, but when I'm in the right mood for it, it's great, or I can go for stuff that's just more often than not a banger. And that's kind of what I did here. I just went for stuff that, like, if I want to put something on, if I'm getting in the car and I have to pick something to start the playlist on before it starts randomizing, what am I going to pick? These are all songs I would probably go to, except for maybe one of them. One of them I kind of just like to stumble across, but I suppose we'll talk about that when we talk about it. So I'm going to post my list in the chat in just a second here. And the boys will get a second to react to it, and then I'll read it off for the listeners. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh!
Oh God! I don't know which ones he's reacting to.
I have an idea.
It's either 3, 4, or 5. It's one of those 3.
It's anyone but one of them.
I just wanted to do it in general.
All right. Fucker. Okay, so my top 5 from top to bottom here is Just Another Day by Oingo Boingo, Wonderland by Churches, 1,000 Miles by Vanessa Carlton, Kentucky Rain by Elvis Presley, and Walkin' on the Sun by Smash Mouth.
That's gonna turn a lot of heads for some people.
I'm sure. Like, there were some that I was like, should I put this on here? Because it's not technically good. And I'm like, but it makes me happy. It makes me happy. Like, let's face it, I'm probably one of the only people on Earth who would put Walkin' on the Sun in their list. But, like, Smash Mouth's my favorite band, dude. And I like them because they're so stupid. But I feel like there's also a bit of biting criticism in a lot of their songs. And this is the prime one for me. Like, All Star's great. All Star's good. But Walking on the Sun is their best work in my opinion.
I mean, if I didn't know you and saw you walking down the street, my first instant thought would be, I bet that guy likes walking on a fair amount.
Yeah,
That's a genuine thing, by the way. I'm being
you gotta look, bro. You gotta look.
I also agree, though.
Yeah, no, Smash Mouth is good. It's just been memed so to death that it's hard to genuinely have a conversation about them.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to take them seriously anymore, even though like a lot of their album tracks are fairly serious or like have this sort of like Gen X irreverent seriousness about them. Like, Let's Rock on the surface sounds like a stupid ass song, but it's really just this perfect summation of like nothing really matters. Stop worrying about everything and just have fun with your life.
It also doesn't help that Smash Mouth really came about during the lounge revolution of the 90s. And they have that very distinct 60s revivalism sound and surfy.
Mm-hmm. And Walking on the Sun has that a lot too, but like that's what I like about it. Like, it's very much leaning into that, and it's like it's a criticism both of boomers and of Gen Xers by Gen Xers. It's like we're both idiots in our own unique way, which you don't hear of a lot anymore. Gen X tends to get kind of swept under the rug in recent generational criticisms, but that's because the boomers haven't gone away.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised my introduction of Oingo Boingo had that much of an influence on you.
Oh no, I love a lot of Oingo Boingo tracks now. I still have yet to listen to the entire discography, but there's a lot of Oingo Boingo in my driving list, and for a very long time, the reason Just Another Day is on this list, there was a long stretch of time where that was at the top of my driving playlist, and I would just put that on every morning as my start of my drive to work because it's such a perfect summation, in my opinion, of like the human experience as I was going through it during that period of time of just like it's we're just going through another day on this earth. There's a lot of people who are going through some bullshit. I'm trying to deal with my own bullshit. I'll get it together for a few seconds and then the whole thing will explode in my face and we'll do it all again tomorrow. Like that's genuinely how I felt about life for a little while.
The only one on this list that I don't.
That's another one where it's like it's intensely personal and like it hit me in a place because I've talked on various modular podcasts before about how much I love Churches. They're up there as one of my favorite bands. I still haven't listened to Screen Violence as of this recording. I feel really bad about that. I just haven't gotten the time to listen to really sit down and give it the attention it deserves. But I do love most of their songs to varying degrees, and Wonderland I feel like was my favorite track off of Love Is Dead because it's just it's about very certain things the way Lauren maybe already wrote it, but it also hit me in a very specific place because of some personal stuff I was going through at the time, and also just I love the chorus of you can't live forever with your feet on the with your head in the clouds, but you can't predict the weather with your feet on the ground. You have to be in both worlds simultaneously in order to live a good life, but it's hard to find that balance. Like that was a lot of what I was feeling back when the album came out of just like how do I balance without getting into specifics, how do I balance political shit with what's going on right in front of me? Was a huge thing I was struggling with when that album dropped. And that's why I love that song. And that's probably the only song on the list where I'm like, I can't just start into that song. I have to have the buildup of the rest of the album, or it has to randomly come up in my driving playlist.
I just was demoing it for a second, and I've been my entire life.
I didn't quite get that. You glitched out.
Oh, I was just demoing it, and I've never heard it ever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't recognize the band at all.
I mean, it is probably the most recent thing on this list. It's from just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and Churches is kind of like a synth-wavy revivalist band.
Mm-hmm.
But I figure I'd probably have more likely to have heard.
Yeah, I would recommend checking them out if you haven't, because like they've got a lot of great stuff. But I am surprised that you guys have not called me out for having 1,000 miles on my list, though, because that was the thing that I think I was most hesitant about.
Personal beef with that song, but it's so.
Yeah, there's like it's a meme song at this point, but that's just more because people memed on it. It's not a song that is a meme.
No, it's a legitimately good song, and I think it's one of the best love songs of the 2000s. It's one of the few songs out of that era that feels genuinely timeless.
But speaking of not timeless, fucking Elvis. Elvis is very much of his time.
He is and he isn't, because like fucking I don't know, Elvis has a lot of good songs that are like, yeah, this message still hits. It's very much ingrained in the time it was made. But it is, and a lot of what he's known for is like stupid love songs or silly throwaway songs. Like, well, his most famous song is probably Hound Dog, and Hound Dog is just nonsense about how I want to get my dick wet. But
actually, the original version was written by a woman. It's about a fucking man who won't stop harassing her.
Mm-hmm. But his performance kind of twists it into that. But a lot of his music does feel that way, but once you start digging below the surface, you find a few tracks that really resonate and really speak to the fact that, like, I don't know, I've had a weird fascination with Elvis my whole life because I have the same birthday as him, so I've read up a lot about him and how he was kind of a tortured artist who wanted to do deeper, more meaningful stuff, but couldn't get away with it because of how his manager would always get him into these certain commitments that restricted what he was doing. And I feel like Kentucky Rain is probably the most timeless example of that. Because, like, I like If I Can Dream and In the Ghetto, but oh god, those songs do not play especially well these days.
No.
Kentucky Rain, however, I feel like it's just a nice little story about a guy who is hopelessly in love, trying to find a girl who left him, not even necessarily to get back together with her, but just to find out why she left. And it's completely sad and depressing because it's literally just a story about him trudging through the rain to try and find this girl to get an explanation, and he just will not stop. And all the characters he kind of meets along the way, because it's literally, I think there's a line that literally says through this old Kentucky back road. So you're meeting all these these characters that only really exist in Americana, but it's nice and it all works for the story of the song, I think.
It's interesting that all your songs are very like liminal. They're transitional kind of period songs. They're songs about like moving through a very specific point in your life, but it's about being in that point, you know?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a factor. And it's probably got something to do with the fact that, like, I've never felt particularly tied to any one generation. Like, depending on who you ask, I'm either a very late millennial or a very early Gen Z. And I don't feel like I belong to either of them particularly. I kind of relate to millennials a lot, but, like, there's other things that I'm just like, I don't agree with why the people do this. And Gen Z baffles me about as much as it baffles the next person in my age grade. So, like, I tend to tie my association more so towards media I liked when I was a kid. Like, I don't say... I have said it quite a few times, but I don't necessarily feel like, oh, I'm a child of the 2000s. I feel like, well, I grew up with fucking Rescue Heroes and the Transformers Unicron trilogy. You know, not necessarily... oh, I grew up in the 2000s, so I love new metal, and I love this, and I love that, and the other thing. I'm like, I listened to fucking Smash Mouth, some old Elvis records, and whatever was on the radio.
We'll get to why this is fucking hilarious when we get to me, but the fact that you said new metal, there's a thing there. No, we'll get to it.
I did. Okay, let me say this before we move on. I did almost put New Divide by Linkin Park on here as a joke. Because I listened to that song a lot back when Revenge of the Fallen came out, because that was the song that they tied in with Revenge of the Fallen, and it was all over that movie. So, like, before the movie came out on DVD, because I was a kid and I didn't realize Revenge of the Fallen was a bad movie for a number of years, before the movie came out on DVD, the only way I had to re-expose myself to it after seeing it in the theater the one time I got to, was to just watch the music video for that song.
Here's the thing, I bet you didn't listen to any Linkin Park before that, did you?
Nope, I didn't even realize they had a song for the first movie until years later.
Oh god, so that means
that hurts.
Yeah, because that means no Meteora hybrid theory.
No. I know what those are now. I've listened to a couple tracks from them, but I haven't sat down and listened to the whole albums.
Then you also need to listen to the Jay-Z mashup album.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, legitimately, it is good. It is so good.
That's strange to hear, because that's such like a developmental band for me personally.
Oh yeah,
probably for most of people.
Interesting. Well, I guess we should move on to one of you boys.
I mean, like, Linkin Park is a big band that Few talks about growing up with.
Yeah, but like I always think of Few as more like a late 80s, early 90s kid.
No, that's just what I'm saying. Like, he grew up as the teenager that it was targeting. We grew up with it as like the middle schoolers who wanted to be like teenagers.
Yeah.
The kids who felt they were getting away with something naughty by listening to it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right. Well, let's select who's going next here. Here we go. Oh
All right.
shit.
I'm fucking alrighty.
Snowcone, you're up.
Okay. I was
All right.
like hovering over it instead of clicking on it. So let me
Yeah.
All right.
copy.
Anything you want to say before you go into your list?
I am somebody who listens to a ridiculous amount of music, so I feel like at any time, me make I also didn't put the people by that.
Yeah, you didn't put the bands here, so I don't recognize some of these titles. Wow.
Okay, I know 2 of them.
All right, hang on.
I think I may know the 4th one.
I know 2 of these.
And maybe the 5th.
I know 2 and 4. I think I know 4.
You don't know 3?
Not that I know.
Don't tear each other apart just yet.
I know. I'm just saying. It's like.
I mean, you haven't even explained it for the listeners.
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I do know 4.
I'm doing this part on my. Probably would have been quicker to use my keyboard actually instead of using my phone. Whatever.
God damn it, Snowcone.
It's fine.
I don't think.
Hey. Head empty.
Okay, here we go. So when people ask me my top 5 artists, it's usually like Daft Punk, Elton John, Ozzy Osbourne, and then to be determined for what time of day, position of sun, and whatever you're asking me.
Yeah.
You know, but Something About Us and Digital Love have like constantly maintained like the number like. They're probably like my number 1 and 2 spots, but like they never leave the top 5, but they're always moving around. Something About Us probably stays my favorites, and Pure Imagination. So like Something About Us, Daft Punk, and Pure Imagination, the version from the Willy
Gene
Wonka
Wilder.
and the Chocolate, Gene Wilder. Those are probably 2 of just like my favorite things, songs, whatever, to just listen to experience, to think about. There's a section in Something About Us that I could only describe as like the pinnacle of elevator music, and it like whenever I listen to that specific song, I always think of just like floating through space, or like the slow moments in Cowboy Bebop. Like it's one of my favorite songs to just like put on, and I'll just like loop it back and back and back, and that's one of the few things I could do that with. Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd is just another one of those songs that it's like a song that I could relax to, whether that be good or bad, or like depending on where my headspace is. I might, while listening to the song, it's a very versatile song. Personal. Digital Love, I have a lot of like personal feelings in, because I've based it around certain things and dedicated it to certain things throughout my life. And the first 4 are like confident. I could not, for the life of me, figure out what I wanted to do for 5. And I swapped it out with many different things. I had Mural by Lupe Fiasco on there, which is a very good rap song. Definitely listen to that if you ever heard it. And there was a few others, but I think Cry the Banshee. This song I was exposed to this song in Brutal Legend. And from this literal second I heard it, I was just like, damn, that's one of those. Like, I'm just like, damn, that's in there for the rest of my life. Like, hey, what's a good music? This one right here, you know, like, so I don't know. That's my word dump about that. Questions, criticism.
I think it's interesting that you took a song from a piece of media, because like that was a definitive decision I made, was like, okay, we're not putting any fucking Kamen Rider inserts on this list.
Yeah, but I like knowing Cody. Like, yeah, no, Willy Wonka means a lot to you. You love that movie.
It's one of my favorite movies, but like that is a song. I like almost every single version I've heard of that song. Maroon 5 has covered it. I've heard so many different people cover it in so many different ways, and every time I hear it covered, I love it.
Yeah, it's one of those songs that's kind of transcended the movie it's in, even though it is kind of ingrained in the memory of that movie now.
Yeah, and I'm happy to argue its ability to be there, but like it's for me personally, it's like I couldn't budge on it, and like though it is obviously the movie is where I first heard it from, just its usefulness in literally anything else, and just as music to me, endlessly important.
I mean, it has transcended the musical it's from. Like a lot of the classic great musical numbers that do that, like Do Re Mi from Sound of Music.
I was gonna say the title track from that movie, because that's the one I immediately think of. But yeah, I also think it's interesting that you went for like earlier Daft Punk music, because like I know that's kind of where they made their name, but like I don't know, there's something about early Daft Punk, and maybe it's the fact that I'm just not into house music, that a lot of it just tends to go over my head. Like, I can't even think of what Digital Love sounds like without bringing it up.
That Digital Love might be Like Digital Love and Pure Imagination might be my two of my most listened to songs, and whatever 3, 4, 5, and 6 would be nowhere close.
Yeah, like I'm partially surprised you put 2 Daft Punk in there. Like, I'm not surprised that there is 2 Daft Punk. It's just more of like, I didn't know if you'd wanted to have more variety than that. But like,
It was a thing. Whenever the question or the idea was popped last week, I was like, yeah, I'll definitely have something about us on there, but I'm not sure what else. And then like the more I thought about it, because I like Touch is like one of my all-time favorite songs too, and that's from Random Access Memory. But I felt like Digital Love, like it's almost like Something About Us and Digital Love I'll play back and forth. So they're in a way connected. Maybe I could have swapped them out with like. I think still there would have been 2 Daft Punk.
But I mean, like, that's also what makes that choice fun, because, like, doing top 5 as opposed to doing any other kind of format of, like, a free by free or a top 10, doing a top 5 is incredibly restrictive, I found out this week. So, like, find out that you doubled up, whereas I was like, I can't double up. I have to get variety in here. That's interesting, and that says something about your taste.
Yeah,
because like I routinely make like fucking super long like playlists of like if I wanted to send somebody a playlist of like my genre of music that best captures it at any given moment, what should it be? And there's like 5 of those that I've like curated to the T, and like they're all relatively different. There's like you could have caught me like 2 days ago, and I would have had Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks somewhere on this list.
Yeah, no, that's a fucking pick too. That's a fucking pick.
And just because I can't help myself, but that's not something I listen to a lot. These are things that I not only listen to a lot, but I always have. The newest one, as far as like my introduction to it, is Cry of the Banshee, because I didn't play Brutal Legend whenever it came up. But that song is something that I could just put on, and it's just like it like teleports me somewhere else. And I think maybe that's what every single song on this does, is it's something that I could put on while I'm driving or doing something, and whether or not I want to, or regardless of where I am in my headspace, I can't stop myself from imagining something, or it just, while other songs I'll listen to, these songs I experience. So yeah, if you haven't heard Cry the Band, or just like watch the whole.
See, I knew you were gonna have a metal song on here. I just didn't know what direction you take it, because
because I could have went Iron Maiden, I could have went Ozzy Osbourne. If I was gonna go like specifically early Black Sabbath, I would go Nib probably.
And there's like, I wouldn't say this is reflective of like purely your taste, but like there's other things like Rage Against the Machine, System of a Down, Rob Zombie, a bunch of those kind of things we've listened to throughout the years that like I wouldn't say you would put on the list, but I'm just going like, yeah, no, that's just the atmosphere of metal we're in.
But again, like, I also thought it was cool that you chose that last song, just because Block's Helm is a fucking band I've never heard of. So it's like, oh, cool, Blindside.
Yeah.
However, I will say, like, Pink Floyd, they're one of those bands where it's like, I know I should listen to them. I know they're a big part of music canon. I've just never gotten around to it, dude. So I look at Comfortably Numb and I'm like, what's that one, lol?
I can't help myself, but like literally, like most of the time I listen to anything from Dark Side of the Moon, I listen to entirety of the album.
Oh, so that is on that album. Okay.
No.
Comfortably Numb is from The Wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just like talking Pink Floyd, like, because like as whatever my music taste is, I still am one of the people where I'm like, yeah, Dark Side of the Moon's probably one of the best albums.
Yeah.
But I do love The Wall almost just as much, but I love Comfortably Numb more than like anything Pink Floyd. Not anything Daft Punk. Daft Punk's probably like number 1 forever. But yeah, I don't know. There could have been endless amounts of other things. No matter what, Something About Us was probably going to be on here, and whether I wanted to fight it or not. So like that's the thing. Like the other song, I was like fighting with myself, even though I know I wasn't supposed to. It was like Rainbow Connection. So that would have taken the place of that, and I'm like, damn, I really can't, because like I don't listen to those, like I don't seek them out in the media as much as I do. Like I'm like, I listen to and have probably weeks worth of time accumulatively listening to these songs.
Yeah,
legitimately.
guaranteed growing up, when if we were in a car and you were in control of the radio, 9 times out of 10, by the end of the night, we would have listened to like at least 15 Daft Punk songs.
Yeah, and at least one helping of a pure imagination.
Yeah.
There's another way to expose myself as the music scrub of the podcast. Like, I think I've told you this before, Boingo, but I'm not sure. I didn't get exposed to Daft Punk until Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. It's sometimes hard for me to think about that because I grew up with like all of my friends being like, "Yeah, Daft Punk, right? Daft Punk,
Yeah,
Daft Punk, of course, Daft Punk."
Like I remember, like I have vague recollections of the day that it was announced that Tron Legacy would have Daft Punk do the soundtrack, and we were in high school just freaking out. It was like, "Oh my god, Daft Punk doing Tron? That's sick!"
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I remember.
And see, like that's the way it was presented to me during all the lead up and hype to that movie of like Daft Punk is doing the soundtrack and that's the most logical choice in the world. And I'm like, okay. And then I heard the soundtrack and I was like, this is the best fucking album I've ever heard in my life. This is the only fucking album I've ever listened to in full in my life.
Daft Punk is the only like band / like they like around the world specifically is the song I'm talking to. That's like the only song where I can remember the moment, the literal moment of hearing it for the. I don't know what this is, but I liked it a lot more than like anything else I've ever heard.
Nice.
I remember like in my first thought, I was like, "Damn, this is a lot like this is similar to like that weird sounding Cher song," and I really like that. Which is what is it like? Life After Love? Or, yeah.
I'm believing love.
That song was technically my introduction to anything techno.
Amazing.
So
all right. Well, I think we've analyzed Snowcone's list about as much as we can. So Boingo, are you ready to rip that Band-Aid?
Yeah, but before I send in the list, I just want to explain how I went about doing this. Okay. So what I did was I made a YouTube playlist and just dumped every one of my favorite songs on there to a point. Like I didn't want to keep going because I knew if I kept going, I'd get to 150 songs and then I have to trim that down to 5. So I just put it all in there and then I whittled a playlist of 30 songs down to a top 5 in terms of relevance, of terms of what I want in a song, in terms of like a bunch of little internal criteria that I never really articulated. And it was the most painful thing in the world. Because I'd be going between 2 different songs going like...
You made it painful for yourself.
Because I was just going like, this one or this one. And it hurt when I had to like get rid of like some songs. Because I was like...
I mean, I did have that a little, but it was only trimming off like in excess 4 songs. Because I just went like, all right, what are the songs I like the most right now? Just thinking off the bat, what is shit I want to listen to right now? And I came up with like 9 or 10 songs.
Yeah, no. The initial list was 30 songs, and I had to whittle that down to 5.
Ooh. That is, I guess, putting it in simple terms, that is the difference between a music file and a non-music file.
Yeah, though I will say, I think once you guys read my list, it is going to be the most obvious. Yeah, of course he would put these songs there. So there we go. And also the 2 playlists I made.
Okay.
There's a playlist too.
Nice. I was wondering if there was ghost on here or not.
Read it off the face.
Yeah.
It's the most like you say a top 5 list of songs from me. What are my favorite songs? That's the list you come up with.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's the most blind. Like, of course. So the songs are "Who Do You Want to Be" by Oingo Boingo, "Close Your Eyes and Count the Fuck" by Run the Jewels, "Year Zero" by Ghost, "The Impression That I Get" by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and "Servitude" by Fishbone.
So the one I laughed at is Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
I love that song. That is genuinely one of my favorite. Like,
but I only know that as a meme song.
Like the genuine message of the song is, yo, other people go through hard shit. I don't know what the fuck they're going through, but like they're fucking tough. They're ballers.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's not a message you get a ton. It's always like, oh, woe is me. It's like, no, shout out to the people that are really suffering, you know?
Yeah, woe is everybody.
Yeah.
I've spoken memes a few times. Great Oingo Boingo choice, though, I will say, because that's one I had under consideration. It was that and Is This were the two I was kind of deciding between, as well as the one I ended up with. Yeah.
That's always just resonated too. It's just like, who do you want to be is about like, it's just like playing into perceptions of other people and like playing into that. Who are you as a person? Who are you as a performance of a person?
It's also a fantastic song to listen to while you're speeding down a country road in the middle of the night. I discovered a few weeks ago.
You should also listen to the live version because they go faster.
Oh my god!
I think I definitely like and agree at the very least.
I'm trying to remember if I've listened to Zero Year. Is that a newer one?
It's from the album before the one we did on Analytical Fanboys.
Okay,
it's the one that goes "Hail Satan" a lot.
Oh,
like literally, the bridge is "Hail Satan, Hail Satan," which is we went to see this band in concert. Me and Cody did, and like that came up, and the entire theater was just yelling "Hail Satan," and it was amazing.
Excellent.
My introduction to Ghost was like trying to brush up on Ghost because Chris was like, "Yo, let's go! I got tickets to see this thing, and it's this band," and I'm like, "I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna make sure I know what it is before I go see it." And then in listening to it, I was just like, "Damn, this shit's quality!" And now I'm really excited. Like, it's become one of my like favorites. And fuck if that's not the best concert I've ever.
I mean, that was minus the concert part. That was kind of my experience doing that episode of Analytical Fanboys. However, I just haven't dived that much deeper on them because, like, I really like the concept behind Ghost, and I like the few songs I've really gotten into since then. But like, I don't. It's not one where like I can get vested in the lore very quickly. It's something I kind of have to work myself up to, like jumping off a high board. I don't know this Fishbone song though. What's that one about?
It's the name of the song. It's Fishbone, so it's like angry political music, but it's kind of just like who do you serve? It's just like that. Is that kind? It's a Fishbone equivalent to Run the Jewels' "Kill Your Master." But like the riff is some of the chunkiest riffage ever. Like that is part of the reason why I love that song. It's just like some other Fishbone songs can be a little bit more like lighter. This one is definitively like, no, they're doing metal here. This is metal.
Interesting. Because, like, again, Fishbone is a band that I really enjoy what I listen to for Analytical Fanboys. I just haven't dived deeper.
Yeah, but like this is one of the best Fishbone songs in my opinion. It was either this or Sleepless God damn it, something Saturday.
Sunless Saturday.
Yeah, Sunless Saturday.
Yeah, and I don't know. This whole list is just like, yeah, these are Chris's favorite bands. Yeah, like I don't necessarily know the songs, but easily I could have said there will be a song from this band on there. There will be a song from that band on there. Because when has Chris not talked about these bands?
Yeah. And like if you look on the second playlist I put of like the initial like 30 songs I put on here, it's like, yeah, no, this is me. This is who I am as a person.
Like Run the Jewels is both a surprise and not a surprise because you do talk about them. You just haven't talked about them as much as Wu-Tang. Like I was kind of expecting a Wu-Tang song.
Nah, Run is it's Run for me. I love Run.
I love Run the Jewels. I was curious to see, because like in my mind, in my Chris canon, it seems like Run the Jewels took the place of the Antwoord, and I remember, and
no, I was very tempted to like think maybe about a Die Antwoord song, but like I don't know, I still like the music, but like the members of the band just kind of soured me on themselves. You know, they've done some shit. Like that was another thing. Is like there were some songs I could have put into the contention, but it's just like I don't like listening to them anymore because of the shitty band.
See, I haven't think bad about.
They just it's a variety of shit.
Yeah.
Or like one of my favorite songs of all time is "Sick Sick Sick" by the Queens of the Stone Age, but the lead singer of that band is a little bit of a shithead. Like, I think he said something anti-vaxxy lately.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I know another member of the band who also has a different band, the Eagles of Death Metal, is full-on right-wing conspiracy nut.
Oh,
And
nice.
I love the Eagles of Death Metal. Like, genuinely, Cherry Cola was one of my fucking jams in high school. I love that song, but I never want to fucking go back and listen to it.
I'm so thankful that, like, this is kind of a sidebar now, but I am so thankful that I have not been hit super close to home with a moment like that. Like, there's been people where I've been like, all right, that view's kind of shitty, but it wasn't like you were my favorite artist, so whatever. I'm just not going to pay that much mind about you anymore. But like I'm struggling to think if there's like anyone where I've been like, oof, don't know if I can watch or listen to that anymore.
Yeah, but it's
like, I don't know. That's weird. I'm sure we'll come up with like 5 after we shut the recording off.
Nah, but I'm just looking at like my 30 list my 30 song. It's like I got another Ghost on here. I got Cersei in here, but then I also got like things that were very important to me growing up that like were like a big part of who I was growing up. So it was like Faint by Linkin Park, White Zombie More Human Than Human, which was one of my favorite zombie songs, Dirty Harry by Gorillaz.
Yeah.
I could have put Empire Ants or
Yeah.
Living Dead Girl in there, and it would have.
I
Danny
suppose
California.
if we're gonna start talking about stuff that was almost on our list, I did almost have "Wannabe Startin' Suffin" on my list because it's my favorite Michael Jackson song.
Yeah.
And like, you can say Michael Jackson is somebody who we've like found out shitty things about them that kind of damages his work, but like, I got into Michael Jackson after he died, so that's out the window with me.
Whatever. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I did almost have a Are You Going to Scarborough Fair by Simon and Garfunkel on my list. Just because that's a tone you don't hear very often in music nowadays, and I really like going back to that song. But I don't have any like personal connection to it, you know?
Yeah. I got some System on here.
I don't listen to BYOB, Empty Walls, but and Lonely Day.
Found out anything shitty about the guys from Matchbox 20?
Don't think so.
Okay, because I did almost have How Far We've Come on my list, but I'm like, I literally only like that song because I listened to it a ton as a kid without understanding it. And like, the lyrics hit me now as an adult, but it's not like a oh, this takes me back kind of hit me. It's just like, yeah, this song is very true and it has stood the test of time, I feel like.
Here's one that Snowcone will know. Gogol Bordello, Start Wearing Purple.
I
know those are words.
We had guitar class together, and I would play that song all the goddamn time.
Shit, I probably recognize that song than I do from the fuck.
Yeah.
I count these as childhood favorites because I was 11 when Tron Legacy came out, but like Son of Flynn was almost on my list, as well as Separate Ways by Journey, because that song is in that movie, and through that movie and that song, I got introduced to Journey, and Journey kind of took me down the road of like, oh, I like 80s hair metal. What the fuck is up with that?
Separate Ways is in Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's going through the arcade.
When he first starts up the arcade, it's playing over the speakers.
Yeah.
And that's still my favorite Journey song. I love that thing.
Son of Flynn is probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm. It's such like it's so perfectly haunting, but also very impactful when it's used.
It's almost directly tied with Flynn Lip.
So. Now I'm just going through my
Sabbath. I also had some Sabbath on this. I had War Pigs.
Yeah. I would have gone with Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, or Nib, or sometimes Fairies.
Oh yeah, Foo Fighters, The Pretender.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't know anything about Foo Fighters, to be honest.
Foo Fighters is good.
I know a lot of people like them. I know that. I was tempted to put an earlier Church's song on my list. There's a couple different ones from pre-Love Is Dead albums I like. Like, I love High Enough to Carry You Over, Lies, Gun, trying to think if there's any other that I would have considered, but I guess not since they're not immediately coming to me. Deliverance is one I've been listening to a lot lately. But yeah,
words coming to my ear.
that's fair.
Protection.
I mean, like I'm the same way about fucking what was the other band you had? Block's Helm.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know much else but that. I haven't gone listen to it, but that has struck me.
Yeah, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else I would have considered, but I guess not. So, yeah, boys, I guess that's it. Unfortunately, obviously, if you've been listening this whole way, Buster wasn't able to join us this week. They had a prior commitment, so we won't be able to find out what the Zoomer taste is quite yet, but there are other musical possibilities in the potential future top 5 topics. So there's always a chance we could still get that at some point. But in the meantime, thanks everyone for listening, and I'm going to throw it to Boingo Writer. Tell everybody who you are and where they can find your content, should you want them to.
Hey, howdy, I'm Chris, a Boingo Writer Gaston. I make a variety of content on the internet. I have a YouTube channel where I make video essays and editorial. You can find that by searching YouTube and Boingo Writer. I am on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram at Boingo_Writer. Follow me on Twitter to get updates on anything I'm doing, including but not limited to Twitch streaming. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at about 9 to 10, around that time. I like to keep it flexible. I play a variety of things. So far, I've been playing through Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. It's been fun, if slightly horny.
Very clean. Snowcone, where can everybody find you, where you'll be making content, hopefully, probably, maybe soon, eventually? I hope so.
My name is Snowcone, God give it. That's my YouTube account and my gamer tag on almost everything, either space or no space. But the thing I use, and I post things from my life, things I like, and sometimes art.
Nick. I am the Vacuuminator. I'm a filthy YouTuber, and I make filthy YouTube videos that are not too filthy for YouTube, so you can check them out at youtube.com/c/thevacuuminator, and that's spelled THEVACUUMINATOR. If you wanna check out videos about, like, I don't know, toys, fucking Power Rangers and Cayman Ridders and shit like that. I'm also on the Twitter, tweeting about whatever I want to tweet about at the Vacuuminator, and yeah, that's pretty much it at the moment until I eventually get back on the horse that is Instagram. But it's a bit off at the moment. But for now, thank you everyone for listening once again. Don't forget to like, comment, sub, ring a ding ding that bell, and all that good YouTubery stuff. And we will see you back here again to hang out at the end of the week once more next week, where we'll be talking about, well, whatever comes to mind, because that's the regular format for this show. Until then.